Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today I have a special guest. She's a real veteran of the community. Her name is Sylvia Anthony. Welcome to the show, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Now, Sylvia is 84 years old. God bless you, Sylvia.
Thank you very much.
But instead of me telling you what Sylvia does, Sylvia, start off with what you do, because they're going to love you today.
Okay. I have a shelter for homeless women and children. I have had it for over 27 years. In January, it'll be 28 years. Like he said, I'm 84 years old, and to date, I've helped 1,086 women and children. God put this on my heart, and I've been doing it, and I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. This is what keeps me going, and this is what I feel other people that are thinking of retiring should do. Don't just sit around. I'm retired. I'm going to go down to Florida and I'm going to just relax. Because if you do that, I honestly believe you might as well take some boards, take a hammer and a nail, because what you're doing is killing yourself. You really are. If you've got something to give back and you do it with all your heart and soul, God will take care of you. He always does. I live a full life, and to go into the house and see these babies and get a kiss from them, it's worth all the money in the world. I love every second of it. I have seen people come and go, and I keep them there for 2 years if they want to stay. And that's enough time to keep them going. And what I do is say to them, look, forget your past. This is a new beginning. You have got to go ahead. And I encourage them to go to school, to go to work, whatever they want to do. And they do it. And every one of them, I have a 95% success rate. I don't think anybody else can say that they have that well a success rate. But that's because I love them. And I want to see them get on, and they do. They become nurses, they become lawyers. The boys that have grown up in my place have gone into the service. They've all had lives. Girls that were never married before found a husband and have a normal life. This is what life is all about. And we really need more of this all over the country. And I honestly believe that God is keeping me here for that reason. I honestly believe He wants me to have a shelter in every state and anywhere else in the world that He wants, so that we can keep this thing going. People have to help people. That's what it's all about. It's not about me, me, me. It's about helping others. And then you have so much to give back, and so much that God will give you, that you'll have a happy, full life. I am happy every minute that I get up, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Sylvia, that was well put what you said, so let me thank you. But I like to paraphrase a great hero of mine. His name was Winston Churchill. And he always said, never was so much owned by so many to so few. But in your case, never was so much owned by so many to one woman like you. So thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you very much.
And I want you to tell the people how you first got started with the homeless shelter.
Well, I was raising my children alone for 10 years. And at this point, I was looking for a job. And I went to a personnel agency called M Executive Agency, and I was looking for an accountant's job. And when I went there, a young fellow knew me, got to me, and I was about 39 years old at the time. And to him, at 20 years old, I was old. So he went up to his boss and looked at my resume, and he handed it to his boss, and he says, "Can we do anything with this lady?" And the boss looked at it. He says, "I can think of 4 places that I can place her right now." So he came over, he interviewed me, and that man became my second husband. Well, now, like I say, I was 40 years old, but I got married at 18 and a half years old originally.
Before we go on, do we have a picture of you at 18 and a half?
Yes.
Do we do? Could you put that up on the screen when she was 18 and a half years old when she got married? Isn't that a beautiful picture of you? Look at it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, anyway, he became my husband, and after we got settled in and everything, I felt a void. I always worked and raised children too. Suddenly, my kids are grown up. One's 21, one's 20, one's 16, and now what do I do? And I honestly feel that God put it in my heart that I should have a shelter. I didn't know what. I was searching and searching, but I had this gnawing feeling all the time. At 39, 40 years old, what I was thinking of was one for the elderly, to keep them active, like I just said. But that went by the board. About 7 years later, I thought, well, gee, maybe it's for hard-to-place orphan. Kids that aren't infants, they're 5, 6, 7, and nobody wants. And that went by the board. And then my husband, we were married for 17 and a half years, and he developed cancer. And he was told it was terminal. And at this point, I was kind of at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do. But he became very, very religious. He used to say that there are no atheists in a foxhole. And now he was in his foxhole. So he turned very quickly to God, and he would watch everybody that he could that had anything that could give him a lift. And one time he called me and he said, Sylvia, come here. And there was a gentleman there, I won't say who he was, but he was saying that he had a shelter for homeless women and children, and he made a manual called a Save a Baby Syllabus. And he would give that manual to anybody who wanted to have a shelter too, free of charge. And I says, that's what I want. So I started a shelter for homeless women and children with this manual that I had. And that was 27 years ago, January 25th, 1987. And it was my husband, 6 months before he died, that started networking, because when he went to college, he was working for, he had majored in advertising, marketing, and public relations. And right away he got on the phone, sick as he was, and he was calling everybody to tell them what we were going to do and so on and so forth. So that he got a lawyer to work for me pro bono, and the man got all of our articles of incorporation together, the nonprofit status together, and even the incorporated with the state of Massachusetts. So by the time he died, we are incorporated January 25th, 1987. My husband died March 30th. But when he died, the foundation had already been laid. And the last two things he said was, go get the girls, and don't worry, Sylvia, I'll take care of you. And you know, sometimes I think he is.
That's good, Sylvia. Now, I want you to tell the people out there how they could contact you, like if a homeless mother with a child, for example, if there's any cost, any charge, what they have to do to get in, the age limit. Could you do that for us, please?
Sure. Okay, that the women should call my telephone number at my office, 781-629-4327. I will speak to them, and what I require them to do is come to my office. I have a contract, sort of, an application, and a set of rules and regulations. They have to read this. It takes about an hour, but I want to be sure that they understand what I expect of them. If they do that and I have an opening, I will be glad to put them in, and they can stay up to 2 years. They're required to pay 30% of the net of anything they get if they're working. Of course, if they're getting welfare or whatever, it's 30% of what they get there. But that's what I require of them. I ask that the girls be of legal age, 18 years old. I don't want to house minors because that takes in a whole different field. But they can stay, I can take women from 18 to 60 years old with no problem whatsoever. And as long as they adhere to my rules and regulations, they can stay, they're welcome to stay up to 2 years.
Right, so that means the women that are on drugs or alcohol, you don't want them there?
No.
Okay.
What I want is people that actually want to make something of their life. I do say that if they have been on drugs or alcohol, if they've been clean for a year and really want to help themselves, I'll take them in. But they've got to prove to me that they have been clean through counselors or whatever for a year. And then I will try. But if they're active as drug addicts and alcoholics, they don't want any help. It's wasting my time and theirs too.
Right. By the way, you mentioned when we got on the show that you've been doing this for 27 years. 2002, which is 12, a little back, about 12 plus or minus years ago, or 15 years since you've been doing it, you received a letter from President Bush. I believe you have that letter there. Would you be kind enough to read it to the people? Because it would be an honor for the people to know. And
Okay.
That's from George W. Bush.
That's W. Bush, right. On November 27, 2002, he wrote, "Dear Miss Anthony, I am pleased to send warm greetings and congratulations on being named a Daily Point of Light. This recognition pays tribute to your important efforts to lend a helping hand to others. Every day in our great nation, outstanding individuals make a positive difference in their communities. I commend you for upholding this proud tradition through your volunteer service to your fellow citizens. Your hard work and dedication enhance the quality of life for others and demonstrate the caring and generous spirit that makes our country strong. Laura joins me in sending best wishes on this special and memorable occasion. Sincerely, George Bush."
Very
and
good.
Got George W. Bush's print.
Right. You had another little article in there that you right there.
Yeah.
Would you tell us what that's about?
It's the Interreligion and International Federation for World Peace, and they gave me an award for Ambassador of Peace.
Would you read it?
I can't read it; it's too small.
Oh, okay.
But maybe he could put it up on the air.
Let me see. Right. Yep. Maybe they can put it up on the air. You're right. It's a beautiful thing as an ambassador for peace.
Right.
And beside that, you've taken care of 1,086 women.
Right.
You've gotten a lot of beautiful letters.
Yeah.
I would like you to read one of them to the people
Okay.
out there for one of the women. You don't have to mention
Okay.
her last name. You can mention her first name or you can mention her name. Whatever you
The
wish.
book he's is referring to is one that I've written. It's a biography. It's called Till the End of Time. And on page 136, I'll go right through to this one. "Dear Sylvia Anthony, I am writing to thank you for everything that Sylvia's Haven has done for me. The Haven gave me a place to live when I had no place to go. I came to Sylvia's Haven from my dorm room in Fitchburg State College and had no place to go, 8 months pregnant, scared and confused. I couldn't live at school with my sons because they didn't have family apartments. My mother died when I was 19, so I couldn't go live with my parents because I didn't have any. While at Sylvia's, I have returned back to college at Atlantic Union College. My first semester there, I received 4 A's and an A-. I also got accepted into their nursing program. I will graduate with my associates in nursing RN in May of 2006. You see, this is, and my bachelor's of a double major of nursing and psychology in May of 2008. So she's well on her way now. With the encouragement of Karen, who was one of our workers, I received a $1,250 scholarship from the Greater Worcester Community Foundation. The scholarship is renewable for the 4 years that I will be attending AUC. I am writing this letter as I am packing to move into my own 1-bedroom townhouse at school. I will miss many of the people that I have become friends with here. I don't know where my son and I would have been if it wasn't for Sylvia's Haven. Thank you for everything. Sincerely, Sandra."
That's beautiful, Sylvia. Thank you for reading that letter.
And there are many of them in this book.
Right. That's a fantastic book, and the name of it is, again, Till the End of Time, which is also a song made famous by Perry Como.
That's exactly why I did it, because in that book, it's a, like I say, it's a biography.
Right.
It tells of my whole life. And at one point, at 15 years old, I met a man named Tony that becomes very much a part of this whole thing, and that was our song.
Oh, Till the End of Time?
Till the End of Time.
Beautiful.
Tony is dead too now, but that's
Yep.
what it's all
Well, we're
about.
up there in age, and that was beautiful put.
Yeah.
Sylvia, I want to take you back to our senior center.
Uh-huh.
Talking about, before we get back on the women homeless shelter, how do you like our senior center? Because you've become there, that's how we met. If it wasn't for the senior center, you wouldn't be here today.
That's right, exactly. I love it. It's a good place to interact with people. I go there specifically for that reason. I like the camaraderie. And the food is excellent. The man that's running this, Steve, is
Fielding,
going...
Steve Fielding, yeah, our new
that's right.
director.
Steve Fielding is going out of his way to make the food good, and it's only $1.50. Where can you buy a meal, dessert, tea or coffee, everything for $1.50? I'm telling you, it's one of the best buy. It is the best buy in town.
Right, we have pastrami some days. Some days we have cabbage, stuffed
And
cabbage.
sometimes lasagna.
Right.
I'm telling you, and it's good. It's as good as you can get in any restaurant.
Shepherd's pie, stuffed
That's
pepper.
right. Right, exactly.
On Friday
It
we
is-
have scallops, tuna roll.
That's right.
Shrimp.
That's right. Nice frankfurts too. Let me tell you, I've never seen frankfurts like this in all my life. They're big and they're juicy and they're delicious. A lot of us look forward to that. It may be frankfurts, but it's the best around, I'm telling you.
I got to say this, that's why when you look at Sylvia, you look at yours truly, that's why we're healthy. Now, Sylvia, I got to tell you this before we go on. I went to the hospital yesterday, to the VA. My doctor says to avoid getting diabetes, you got to exercise. I says, doctor, I exercise an hour every day. I went to the candy store, and he laughed at me.
He really doesn't eat candy that much. He's only kidding around.
Very good, Sylvia. By the way, you have some great grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. Tell us a little about them before we go.
Grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I have 3 children. Now, mind you, I got married at 18 and a half years old. So I've got a daughter, 65. I got a son,
What's her name?
64.
What's their names?
Lynn is my daughter. Eddie is a junior, and he's 64. And Dean Souza, their last name is Souza, is going to be 60 years old August 30th. So all 3 of my children will be in their 60s at this point. My grandchildren are a girl and 2 boys, too. The oldest boy is going to be in October 34 years old. The other one is going to be, the girl is 28, and the next one is 27. And then my great-grandson is going to be 4 years old in the first week in December. But then I've got all of this extended family of 1,087.
Wow.
That, I mean, some of these kids, when I started 27 years ago, were born then, about a half a dozen of them. They may be married and have children too. This goes on and on and on.
Sylvia, I would like to ask you, since you're a nonprofit organization and you're looking for donations, and that's the only way the donations help you out, if you gave them the email, the telephone number, the website, but if they want to mail it, can you tell them an address that they can mail it to?
Yes, 7 Foster Street in Revere.
Suite
It's
29.
Sylvia's Haven, Inc., 7 Foster Street, Suite 29, Revere, Mass. Thank you for thinking of that. I didn't put that in there.
No, but I happen to be reading because I do the notes before we go on the show so we can help each other.
That's right. And do you want me to say is he going to put up the other on the board or what?
You could say whatever you wish, Sylvia.
Well, like my website is www.sylviashaven.org. We have a big campaign going to try to have one of these in every state or anywhere else that God wants. And that, look at it, it's www.sylviasdream.org. If you will look at the website for sylviashaven.org, you will see interviews with other men that have had me, that are helping me, trying to, all over the country, all over the world, trying to help me get money to do exactly this. I'm still well, I'm still active, and I honestly believe God wants me to do this before he takes me home. So he's keeping me busy for his purposes, and that's to help as many, many people as I possibly can.
And I think you do a fantastic job, Sylvia. I really do.
Thank you very
because
much.
if you help one person, and if you save one person, sometimes you can save the world, because that one person can become a doctor.
It goes on and on and on.
Right.
It's like a chain reaction, just like a pyramid. I mean, like I say, I have kids in 87, about a half a dozen born, that are now 27. Obviously, some of them have had children or are getting married or thinking of getting married, but their mothers have been doing well and all.
Right. So what
they-
else would you like to say, Sylvia? We have about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to give you 4 minutes of that 5.
Okay.
And let me just say, ask you one question. What would you like to see the future of your corporation?
My future is to see these in every place that God wants me to go, because that way, when he takes me home, it can keep on going for years. So I need the volunteers. This is going to take a massive effort. So I need people who are willing to want to give back to come and join me. I need the money to do it with. But, you know, nothing is for nothing. God, in this world, this is the way the world is. We need the money to do the job. And believe me, if you join me either in work or financially, you will be well pleased no matter where you are. If you're from any state, Massachusetts or any other state in the country or anywhere else, and you want a place and you have the money, I'll come down, I'll talk to you people, and we'll set things up so that it can go on.
Right. By the way, Sylvia, that beautiful book you wrote, if people wanted to get a hold of it, how can they do that?
Well, first of all, it's from Zulon Press, and but it's in every. It may not be available in the store, but you can order it online in the store. You can even get an e-book. You can get a tablet. You can get anything. You know how to get online. Get that way. Otherwise, if you want, you can write me or call me, and I have books in the office that I could gladly send you. In fact, if you want it for nothing, I'll send it to you. But just call me or write me. But I want to get as many books out as I can so that the people know what's happening and they can show them to others.
Sylvia, in the back of the book here, I'd like to read this because there's a little line there that puts it all in perspective. It's called, "I will never leave you or forsake you." It's from Joshua chapter 1, line 5. That's a beautiful saying, Sylvia.
That's right. And and he hasn't left me or forsaken me. He's still going strong.
That's right.
and I'm going strong too.
Right. Now, Sylvia, before we close the show, we got about 3 minutes left. Mm-hmm. What you've done, I've got to say, just listening to your talk, that the people are revered. Thank you. The Commonwealth thanks you. America thanks you. And the world thanks you for what you do. Really, it's a fantastic job. And you did it all by yourself to begin with.
That's right.
So you started off all alone.
That's right. That's right. But you know, I didn't start off all alone. God has been with me every step of the way, and he always will be.
That's right.
Because when I had all these people at Fort Devens, I had 21 acres of land, 50 townhouses. 40 girls had a townhouse of their own. And it was like a community all its own. I was the second largest in the country. You know who beat me out? Bill Gates.
Oh, the pauper.
Yeah. And I was doing it through the federal government. They let me lease the land for me because they had to have a shelter in every camp that's closed down. So they gave it to me for $1 a year.
That's
and
nice
this
of them.
Is what, yeah, it was right. I was there for 9.5 years.
Right, Sylvia, I have to say to you, it's an honor for me to have you on the show, and I want to thank you for coming up. And I know you're a very religious woman, so I'm only going to say a few words to you. God bless you for everything you do.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you,
and
too.
I look forward to seeing you with the senior citizens with your jokes and on. You're a wonderful, wonderful man. You keep us all laughing.
Right. Well, That's because I'm a big joke myself. Okay. Okay. And I want to say to the people of Revere, God bless you. God bless our troops. And God bless our great country, the United States of America. And thank you. And Sylvia, I want to thank you again for coming on the Revere Veterans and Community.
Thank you for having
because
me.
you are a real community veteran. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, dear.